Long before Cleopatra took selfies on coins and the pyramids poked the sky, Egypt had its very first king. His name? Osiris, son of the sky goddess Nut and the earth god Geb, and heir to a divine legacy stretching back to Ra, the sun himself. Osiris wasn't your average crown-wearing deity. He didn't just rule, he revolutionized. Alongside his brilliant sister-wife Isis, yes, ancient gods were big on keeping it in the family, Osiris ushered in a golden age. He taught the people how to farm, how to live by the rhythms of the Nile, and even how to be decent to each other. Imagine a cosmic TED Talk, but with grain and justice, instead of slides and jargon. Osiris didn't rule with an iron fist, he ruled with Maat, the cosmic principle of truth, balance, and harmony. Dressed in the Atef crown, clutching his royal crook and flail like a fashion-forward shepherd king, Osiris embodied life, fertility, and divine order. His skin was often shown as green or black, not because he was sick, but to symbolize the lush soil of the Nile and the power of rebirth. But where there's order, chaos always lurks nearby. Enter Set, Osiris's younger brother, the god of deserts, storms, and I should totally be king instead. While Osiris brought life, Set brought sandstorms. As Osiris's fame grew, so did Set's jealousy, curdling into pure hatred. Some say it was a sibling rivalry, others whisper it was betrayal, that Osiris secretly fathered Anubis, the jackal-headed god of the dead, with Set's wife, Nephthys. Scandalous? Absolutely. Motive for murder? Apparently so. So Set did what any power-hungry chaos god would. He plotted. Set's plan was as elegant as it was evil. He threw a lavish banquet for Osiris. All smiles, fine wine, and backstabbing intentions. At the feast, Set unveiled a magnificent chest, gleaming with gold and carved to perfection. He declared it a gift, fit for the guest who could lie inside it just right. A divine party game, if you will. Everyone tried. No one fit. Until Osiris stepped in. Spoiler, the chest was custom built for him. As soon as Osiris lay down, the trap snapped shut. Set's henchman slammed the lid, nailed it down, poured molten lead to seal it, and tossed the box, with the struggling king inside, into the Nile. Just like that, the god of life was dead. And Set, he seized the throne. Instantly storms tore through the land. The Nile shrank. Crops died. The people mourned. Maat was shattered, and chaos ruled. But one goddess wasn't giving up that easily. Isis, Osiris's wife, sorceress, an all-around badass, was not about to let death have the final word. With heart full of grief and magic in her hands, she swore to find Osiris, no matter how far she had to travel, and even if it meant chasing down the gods themselves. With her husband lost to the Nile, Isis went full goddess detective. She searched high and low. After days of divinely determined tracking, Isis discovered the chest had washed ashore in Byblos, modern-day Lebanon, and plot twist, a local king had turned it into a palace pillar. But Isis, ever clever, disguised herself as a humble nursemaid and wormed her way into the palace. Each night, she would perform quiet acts of magic, but eventually her true identity as a goddess slipped out, and the royal family bowed in awe. Her one request, that pillar. The king agreed. Isis cracked open the wooden column and finally reclaimed Osiris's body, lifeless but sacred. She wrapped him in linens, whispered spells only gods could know, and smuggled the coffin back to Egypt, hiding it deep within the Nile Delta's marshes. But before she could complete her resurrection ritual, Set found out. Apparently, Osiris's death just wasn't dead enough for Set. He stormed into the marsh, stole the body, and in a truly extra move, chopped Osiris into 14 pieces. Then he scattered the limbs across Egypt like a twisted scavenger hunt. But Isis, still not giving up. With her sister Nephthys by her side, Isis searched every corner of Egypt, marsh by marsh, temple by temple. She found each piece of Osiris and reassembled him, wrapping the limbs in sacred linen. Then came the magic. With the help of Thoth, the scribe of the gods, and Anubis, god of mummification, and Loki, maybe Osiris' son, Isis performed the first mummification in history. Anubis embalmed, Thoth chanted divine spells, and Isis, in the form of a kite, which is a bird, not the toy, beat her wings above the bandaged body of her beloved. She breathed life into him with the power of the Ankh, the sacred symbol of eternal life. And then he stirred. Osiris opened his eyes, but his time among the living was brief. Though reassembled and revived, he could no longer walk the mortal world. His place was no longer on the throne of Egypt, but beneath it. So Osiris descended into the Duat, the Egyptian underworld, where he took his place as Lord of the Dead. From his throne, he weighed the hearts of the dead against the feather of Maat. Righteous souls joined him in paradise, the field of reeds, while the wicked, let's just say they had a less pleasant life. And Egypt, it waited for a new protector. But don't worry, Isis had one last ace up her sleeve, Horus, her son with Osiris, born of magic and love. Isis raised him in the shadows of the papyrus marshes, far from Set's prying eyes. She taught him the secrets of magic. Thoth taught him the laws of Maat, and the spirit of Osiris whispered from the underworld. By the time Horus came of age, he wasn't just a warrior. He was a falcon-headed force of divine justice, and he wanted his throne back. But instead of just storming Set's palace and flinging thunderbolts, Horus did something very Egyptian. He sued him. That's right. The gods held a cosmic court case. All the deities showed up, Thoth, Isis, Nephthys, even Ra, to decide who had the rightful claim to Egypt's throne. Set, of course, tried to play the victim, but the gods weren't convinced. Still, divine legal proceedings can go on forever. So tired of waiting, Horus issued a challenge. Enough with the debate, let's duel for the crown. What followed was one of the most legendary battles in mythology. Horus versus Set. At one point, Set transformed into a giant black hippo and dove into the Nile. And of course, Horus dove in right behind him. The battle was long, brutal, and poetic. In the fight, Set gouged out Horus's left eye, shattering it into pieces. But with the help of Thoth, the eye was restored, becoming the sacred symbol of healing and protection known as the Eye of Horus. To this day, it's worn by millions as a sign of strength and wholeness. Eventually, Horus defeated Set, not just with strength, but with truth, justice, and a whole lot of divine backup. The gods handed down their final judgment. Horus was the true king. With his crown finally earned, Horus ascended the throne of Egypt, bringing Maat back to the land. But Horus wasn't done. In a moment of reverence, he offered his restored eye to his father, a gift of sight, power, and devotion. The act sealed Osiris' place as immortal king of the underworld, where he would reign forever, judging the dead and protecting the souls of the righteous and keeping chaos at bay. From then on, every pharaoh was considered a living Horus and a deceased Osiris, a walking echo of this ancient myth. And Set, he didn't vanish, he remained in the myths, and not always as a villain, but as a reminder that chaos is never gone, only held in balance by those strong enough to fight for it.